Hello. Today is my second day in the city of Gottschee in Slovenia, and this is the city where my great grandparents were born before immigrating to the United States, particularly the city of Cleveland. Um, my my father's mother's father's father was born here. I believe his name was Anton Fink, and his father might have been named Andrew Fink, but I'm not entirely certain. Um, Fink is apparently a pretty common Gottscheer name. Um, it's kind of the equivalent of John Smith almost. Um, but today is my second day here. I arrived yesterday. I drove from southern Austria, Carinthia. Um, Many of the go-chairs who came to who came to Goche, they originally came from that region of Austria about 1200 AD. But the Gochers were Germanic people. They spoke a dialect of Old German, and they lived in this area for roughly 600 years before um, immigrating away from the region, partly due to land running out, but also due to later years due to the wars, World War One, World War Two. Um, so I figured I would record some of my thoughts that I am now that I'm here. I have a full night's rest. Um, Slovenia is a beautiful country. Um, I have heard rumors that you can get some kind of uh, some kind of ancestral residency that I might look into. Um, who knows uh, how successful I'll be in that endeavor? But Guche, Gocher, Guche is that's the old German word for the town. I'm still not entirely sure how to properly pronounce the Slovenian um, word for this town in this region. Um, the innkeeper I'm staying at an inn, and he gave me this wonderful map, and it explains the layout of the town and also the layout of the region generally. I'm from Volusia County, Florida, and I think um, the Goche region is about the size of maybe half the size of Volusia County. Um, Yesterday I met the first, so the Goche region has many small villages. As you know, it was agrarian, and there were many small farms, and to this day there's many farms that are. It's a very agrarian area. Um, all of the people here today they're not Germanic, they're not Gochers, but they are Slovenians who moved into the region after World War II, after the population here was cleared. Um, the first town I visited, I met the priest of the local church, and a very beautiful church. It's, according to him, well attended by the local population, and the writing on the church was actually in Gocherish, in the Gocher language, which again is a dialect of Old German. So when you go into the churches around here, they have preserved the inscriptions in the churches, and the stained glass are still in that Germanic language. Um, Beautiful artwork, amazing craftsmanship. So a lot of the churches are at least 100 years old, if not more, which predates the largest movements out of this region by the Gottscheers. Um, I've also visited several grave sites. The oldest, so the graves here, or the cemeteries, are rather small. Most of them are Slovenians who have passed away, who were in those cemeteries. However, the oldest graves, and you can especially tell if the words are completely weathered away and you can't read anything. The oldest graves are of the Germans who lived here, and you can kind of tell by the way the the letters are put together. Frankly, so just like how, and of course with the epithet, the writings on the grave markers, if they're a bit longer, some of them will have a narrative, and you can tell that it's something akin to German. Um, but Most of those graves were obviously not well maintained because all of their descendants moved away. So most of the German graves are very, very, most of them, you can't even read what's on the grave marker. So I have yet to find a Fink, despite it being a common name. Um, the area itself is incredibly beautiful. I've heard the weather can be somewhat unpredictable, but you can have highs of in the 70s and the 80s, so you have very nice summer weather. But you can also have snow. Yesterday there was hail for about 5 minutes, and that was after, maybe 30 minutes before that it was just blue skies. It's very verdant, very green. The area reminds me a lot of Appalachia, a lot of Tennessee and North Carolina almost. So I've always liked that part of the United States, and perhaps this is the reason why, some kind of ancestral memory. Incredibly beautiful, very, very fertile land, very good farmland. Um, Slovenian people are nice. I haven't had t- too many interactions, but as I told you, the parish priest invited me in. He gave me food, and he was very delightful company. The innkeeper was very nice. And as a matter of fact, most good chairs are part Slovenian as well. So when I took a DNA test, I came back as 7% Slavic. So I would assume that that comes from the intermarriage between the German Gottscheer people and the Slavic Slovenes, Slovens. Uh, I'm not educated on the pronunciation of these words, but there was certainly intermarriage between the two groups in the hundreds of years that they lived in the same region. So those are some of my initial thoughts, having visited the area. It's incredibly beautiful here, and God willing, I should return at some point. I can show you. There was a book that was lended to me by the innkeeper, and it's 800 pages, um, and it's very heavy. But this wasn't put together by an academic, but a few locals who were just very interested in the subject matter of the Gottscheer population who um, basically disappeared. But whoever put this together, they've included some narratives by Gottscheer people who immigrated and had those stories taken down by their families, the routes that they took to come to America, and some of their motivation for leaving. Um, there is also, they've done a painstaking job at going through the old villages in the woods that were destroyed over the course of many years due to um, intentional destruction during the World Wars, but also just disrepair. Um, so they've gone ahead and they went to many of those villages and they took pictures. They're all in black and white. I think that was a limitation of the cost of printing not so much the fact that the pictures are old. And there's also some information here about families that were in particular um, villages. Um, I haven't been able to confidently locate where my family um, was located. And as a matter of fact, if I tried to find any particular village in here, there may not be anything remaining, and there's not a clear. It's not clear exactly where many of these villages were located in the woods. So, um, but maybe one day I will have better information to go on. But and there's also this person has also put together lots of poetry about what their thoughts are. I assume this person is Slovenian, and they're kind of living in this area that is covered in ruins from a different ethnic group who was here for a very long time, and they've done a lot of meditating on the nature of what a homeland is and what it means to um, be divorced from home. So it's very thoughtful. Um, but yeah, all in all, it's been an experience, and I figured I would speak a little bit about what I've seen as I'm here right now in Gottschee, in the middle of the city, and in the middle of the region. So, but if you're interested in coming to this area, the route that I took is I flew into Munich, and I took a train to Salzburg in Austria, and then I rented a car. They did have automatic, thank God, and I drove. I think it's a 4-hour drive to get to this part of Slovenia, which is the southernmost part of the country. So that's all I have to say at the moment. So wish me safe travels.